Alright, so you guys saw my top 10 shows of the year. This is my list of top 10 movies of the year. Word of warning, there are no Oscar buzzworthy prestige dramas in this. When I went to the movies this year, it was always to watch something comic booky, blockbustery, explosive, fun, just to forget this crazy time that we're going through. Yeah? Deal? Let's get to it. Number 10 on the list is The Suicide Squad. So I did not like the original Suicide Squad. I felt it was pretty generic, lame, and we all know there's the whole release the Ayer cut buzz going around because the studio really chopped it out and ruined the film. So I don't know if we'll ever see a revised version of that one. But The Suicide Squad was fantastic. It was witty, it was funny, it was just an all-out good time. I was grinning the entire way through. I absolutely loved it. The cast was great, including the returning ones, starting from Margot Robbie to everyone new who joined the party. It was all just such a fun time out at the movies, and I have such fond memories of watching it. It's just a pity that it was such a flop, but we all know why that was. It's all about the marketing. How could you do another movie and just have the exact same name and just add the? That was just a ridiculous move from a marketing standpoint, and they paid the price for it because the movie was a big box office bomb, and it was so undeservedly one because I thought it was just brilliant. So Suicide Squad is definitely the first thing on my list at number 10. Number 9 on the list is Black Widow. A lot of people did not enjoy this movie, but I thought it was super fun. This is coming from someone who never even liked Scarlett Johansson in the role. I always thought she was pretty bland, but I thought the film had terrific action, great twists that I did not see coming. Taskmaster was probably underutilized as a villain, but the rest of the film was so solid that I really enjoyed it. Plus, I really liked the Harvey Weinstein parallel. So it's just a pity that it took 10 years for Black Widow to get her own movie, but at least what we got was super thrilling. Plus, it masterfully introduced Florence Pugh into the MCU. I can't wait to see her Yelena become basically the new Black Widow moving forward. There's so much potential for the character. So as far as I'm concerned, this was a super solid film. Number 8 on the list is A Quiet Place 2. Now, the first Quiet Place is one of my favorite movies of all time. I absolutely loved it. So I had super low expectations going into the sequel. Imagine my surprise when I found it super nerve-wracking. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Emily Blunt kicked ass, as she always does. Everything about the film just worked. I was sure it would be a major flop, but it really captivated me from beginning to end. Sure, it's not as good as the first one, but it's still super well made and just impeccably brought to life. Number 7 on the list is No Time to Die. Now, I'm a huge James Bond fan. I've watched every single one because my dad was a huge fan. And Daniel Craig is one of my favorite Bonds, if not my favorite. I love Sean Connery, I love Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan was the one I grew up with, GoldenEye is still my favorite Bond film, but Daniel Craig knocked it out of the park, and no spoilers here, but I loved the ending to No Time to Die. It was very full circle, very cathartic, super satisfying. The only weak spot for me is Rami Malek. I thought he was super underutilized as the villain, but it wasn't enough to ruin the film for me. I just thought it was one of the standouts of the year. It was a super cool finale to Daniel Craig's James Bond. 6 on the list is one of the coolest action movies I saw this year, Free Guy. Ryan Reynolds can do no wrong. The film's concept was super creative, and we got to see Jodie Comer from Killing Eve in a big blockbuster starring role. Her chemistry with Reynolds was off the charts. The film was super fun. It had fantastic cameos. It gave me goosebumps at the end. No spoilers, with that nostalgia tinged moment. You know what I'm talking about. It was just an all-around good time and one of the most unforgettable films of the year. Are we getting a sequel? Number 5 on the list is one of the most twisted movies of the year, Run, starring Sarah Paulson. Now, I love Sarah Paulson from American Horror Story, and she's just one of the best actresses in Hollywood. Run was super twisted, super creepy, super unsettling, and really managed to get under my skin in the weirdest ways. The ending could have been stronger, but I still loved the film across the board. And hey, the film is practically set in one location, which you all know I love because that just amplifies the anxiety and stress. Number 4 on the list is House of Gucci. Now, I knew nothing about Gucci, the murders, the scandal, everything about it. So I had very low expectations and I was so pleasantly surprised. The cast just elevated the film. Lady Gaga was even better than she was in A Star is Born. Al Pacino, Jared Leto, Adam Driver, everyone was on point. The film just held my attention from beginning to end. And it really showcased the power of greed and wealth and how it intersects with family business. It was just a fascinating and captivating tale. I did not expect to enjoy it so much. Number 3 on the list is The Unforgivable. Now, this movie people hated, but Sandra Bullock is one of my favorite actresses ever since childhood, and I thought she knocked it out of the park. She was so good. It's not a feel-good movie. It's depressing, it's bleak, It's very gut-wrenching, but it's also super well made. The twist I did not see coming at all, and it just felt like a really powerful story that was beautifully told, and Bullock is just always so magnetic and charming to watch, even if she's playing such a depressing role. So The Unforgivable was unforgettable for me. Number 2, Dune, a spectacular masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. The costumes, the cinematography, the colors, the writing, the acting, everything about it was beautiful, and they did such a good job of world building, as confusing as it was, and setting up part 2. Yes, you could say that they kind of mismarketed because Zendaya was barely in it, but I was fine with that because I was just so absorbed by the film's world, its beautiful ideas and concepts. I'm just so on board for part 2, bring it on. Number 1 on the list is definitely, no argument, Spider-Man No Way Home. This film was such a beautiful culmination of 20 years of filmmaking, bringing so much together. It was emotional, the action was epic, the humor was hilarious, everything about the film was beautiful. I think it really set the bar for what comic book movies should aspire to moving forward, particularly if they're all going to start jumping into the whole multiverse shebang. We're looking at you, Flash. No other movie comes close for me. This was my number 1 film of the year, and it was just the perfect capper to an otherwise depressing year. It was just phenomenal in every way. So that's my top 10 list. I'd love to know what your top 10 looks like, what takes the top spot. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell to get the latest videos straight to you. Thanks for joining.